Eurovision fam? It's Alesia Michelle. Today is going to be super exciting because I am going to be talking about Eurovision 2019's most likely to succeed. These are the countries that are getting a lot of buzz, they're at the top of the betting odds, and we gotta talk about it. Hey, who's most likely to succeed? I got a new video. Alesia Michelle, I'm ready to go. Eurovision fam, are you ready for the show? So today I'm going to be talking about 7 countries in particular. Yes, 7 countries in particular. These countries definitely at the top of the betting odds, and then some of these countries, I've seen them on a couple of lists of like countries to watch and, you know, people talking about buzz and social media followings and stuff like that. So these are really the countries that everyone thinks are just gonna do really well. Yeah, people just think they're gonna do really well. But really, will they do well? Let's see. So I'm gonna start off by talking about France. You know, there's been a lot of talk about France. I think there's been a lot of talk about Bilal in particular because Bilal does have a big social media following and definitely just kind of stole Destination Eurovision away from all the other participants. It's insane. I feel very conflicted about France's song this year. I don't hate it, but I also don't really love it. And vocally, I'm just left a little bit like, I just want a little bit more. Could I get a little bit more? Yeah, I just think there's something about France's entry this year that just feels really safe. Really, the only thing unique is the performer, Bilal, which is great. I think that that's awesome, but it would just be better if we also had a song and a piece to really showcase him. And I guess what I'm hearing from a lot of folks is that Bilal really isn't a singer. They really aren't a vocalist. And then that makes me go, well, then why did we kind of give him like a power ballad to a certain extent? There's something about this song that it's like it just needs a little bit more vocal and we're just not getting it. But with that said, I have questions about this performance. I know that there's a big social media following, but I don't think that necessarily means that Bilal is a surefire bet to go on and perform really, really well when it comes down to the televote and the jury scores. I do think that juries will recognize the fact that this song really isn't doing anything new. It's not really introducing anything new. And, you know, the vocal is also not necessarily taking us to that next level. And I fear that France really might not even perform better than they did last year. And to be honest, if they don't perform better than they did last year, I think that makes a lot of sense. But if they do perform better than they did last year, I would say it is definitely due in part to the fact that we have a charismatic performer who has a following. Well, real talk, it's not a bad thing as long as this doesn't win. Because, like, France shouldn't win this year. Like, we definitely have better songs this year. We don't need France to win this year. Yeah, I mean, I just hope that people will still be open to hearing some of the other great songs and connecting with some of the other amazing performers that we have. Because I think this year, which was seemingly going to be a weak year, all of a sudden became definitely not a weak year at all. And I would argue that it has been more difficult for me to put my top 10 together this year than it was last year. And I think last year was a relatively strong year. I think the last weak year that we had was definitely 2017 in Kiev. There's not a lot of songs from 2017 that I am still listening to, if I'm being honest. But I do think this year we've got some really good songs. And yeah, I'm curious to see how the juries figure out who they're going to put on top because I just don't think it's going to be a consensus. All right, next up, I'm going to talk about Cyprus. Look, Cyprus has the heat. They've got the fire. They have Sasha Jean-Baptiste. Look, the staging for Cyprus is going to be amazing. The studio track is quality. And Tamta is a better vocalist. And I shouldn't say a better vocalist, but a stronger vocalist than Eleni. I think what Tamta could do vocally, Eleni would not even bother doing. That's not a slight. Everybody is good at certain things, but I do think Tamta has a little bit more range. This song is good. I think it's going to be performed well. Could it finish top 10? It could. It could definitely finish top 10. Is it in my top 10? I don't know yet. Yeah, I just really feel like Cypress is gonna give us a package, and they're gonna give us a package that is going to make some of these songs that might be a little bit stronger than Cypress's song a little bit nervous and put on shaky ground. Because at the end of the day, yes, this is the Eurovision Song Contest, but we gotta have a show, and the whole package has to be something digestible, it has to be something of quality, and it has to be something that's gonna stick in the mind of voters who aren't like me, aren't like you probably, who really haven't gotten close to some of these songs and connected with the artist and getting that full picture. They're just gonna look at that package that's given to us on, semifinal night, and they're gonna decide whether they like it or not. And if it's not hitting, it ain't gonna make it. Cypress is gonna hit, okay? Cypress is gonna hit. It's going to happen. So, Cypress is definitely one of the most likely to succeed. But I will say, I don't think that Cypress is going to win this year. I don't think that it is in the cards for Cypress to win, even with amazing staging. I'm just not feeling it, even though I would love to go to Cyprus for Eurovision. Hello, can I just stay on a boat or a yacht somewhere? So if Cyprus wins, one of y'all, I know, somebody has to have a yacht. Can I get on it? Next up, we're gonna talk about Italy. Look, some of y'all might have forgot about Soldi. I'm sure some of y'all forgot. But guess what? The people at home that haven't even hopped into this song contest, they don't even know it exists. And they're gonna hear it, and they're gonna fall in love. Look, Italy is coming with heat and fire. If Italy were to win this year, it would be a deserved win. Italy has not really been playing with us for a while. They've really been coming with quality for the past couple of years. And I do feel like it is quality that we need to start chewing on and rewarding. Because I would hate for Italy to start getting lazy, and not giving us quality. I love the quality. Soldi is a really, really good song. It is going to be performed well. We have a charismatic performer. We have a performer. The performer actually connects with the song. There's a personal story there. This is a full package, and really the only piece that we need is for Italy not to screw up this staging. This staging better be immaculate. It better be thoughtful. I don't want the whole kitchen sink thrown at it. We can keep it pretty simple. I have some ideas. I'm just thinking we do real tight camera angles. I think we really focus on Mahmoud. I think we focus on him kind of connecting and speaking his truth. I think, when it comes to the projections, I don't even know if we should do a lot with that. I think we could do a lot with just lighting and camera angles and keeping it simple. Italy has a gem. They have the benefit of already having a really strong song, so they really don't need to do a lot with the staging, because if you do too much with the staging, it's going to begin to detract from an already great song. And so we really want to make sure that we keep it clean and no one gets comfortable thinking that it's a lock for them. I just really, really like this entry. I really, really like what Italy is giving us this year. Let's talk about Switzerland. First of all, before we get into this, what I'm gonna say, it might be hard for some of y'all, but for the folks who are kind of hating on Switzerland because they're like, it's a Fuego ripoff, just stop. Yeah. I'm really telling you to let that go, because I just think ultimately it doesn't really matter. And so you're wasting your breath. I hate wasting my breath. I hate repeating myself too. But yeah, I just feel like this song is different. It is not a ripoff of Fuego. They don't even sound the same for real. But I do feel like Switzerland's entry is the Fuego of this year. I think this song is gonna get a lot of points. I think the staging for this song is gonna be amazing. I think that the show that we are gonna get is just gonna be an all-around package of quality. Luca is going to sing it flawlessly. We will not have bum notes. Look, this song is about to be maybe top 3. Potentially, legitimately, potentially top 3. I definitely feel like Switzerland is a lock for top 5, personally. For Switzerland not to come top 5, there would have to be a lot of emotional songs ahead of it. For Switzerland not to come top 5, the staging would have to be a disaster. And we know that's not going to happen. Yeah, Switzerland is just bringing heat, fire, quality, and it's giving me everything holistically that I need and want. And I know Switzerland has had some issues in the past, and definitely last year, Zibs was in my final. Zibs was hands down, without a doubt, in my final last year. I'm still slightly bitter about the fact that Zibs did not make it to the final last year, because I do think that the song was deserved, but they were in a really tough semi, so it is what it is. But this year, there is no excuse. There is no excuse for Switzerland not to be in the final, point blank, given the way that juries have voted in the past and televoters have voted in the past. It really doesn't make a whole lot of sense unless some fishy stuff was going on. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about Sweden. Sweden. Now, first of all, for some background, y'all should really know that I love Sweden. Sweden is one of my favorite countries at Eurovision. No, really. I am like a borderline Sweden stan. But clearly I'm not that much of a stan, so that's why I can talk to some of y'all stans, because sometimes as a stan, you have to check yourself. You have to realize and recognize like what's going on and like the holistic, picture of things. Look, Sweden is high in the betting odds and has winner buzz around them because, one, it's Sweden. There's always some level of winner buzz around Sweden. I do think this year it is deserved. I think John Lundvik is giving us a performance that is perfect. It is perfection in many ways, and honestly, I think that that's kind of to its detriment, because a song like this, Is It Too Late for Love? Example, when Franca was singing Crazy, she embodied that song. She sold the mess out of that song. And I will say there needs to be like a justice for Franca movement, because she needs to come back to Eurovision with a better song. Because she really got on that stage, sold it. I believed her. When she was singing, I believed every single word. When John Lundvik sings, I don't really believe him. I think he's a good performer. I think he sings it vocally well. But I don't necessarily believe the words that are coming out of his mouth. For example, like when the performance starts out, he's sort of singing and sort of smiling at the camera, which is like the way that we theater kids are taught, sell the song, come on, sell the song. When you're performing a song, but it's a little bit different when you're in a piece, when it's like musical theater, when you're kind of embodying a song, when you're playing a part. There is a moment where he sort of says, I can't take no more. It seems like you can, because you're singing it with such ease. And sometimes it's just a twist of your nose. It's just like a wrinkle of your lip. It's just a furrow of your brow to make us believe it just a little bit more. So that would be like my note, for John Lundvik. Do I think Sweden could win? I am actually of the party that actually doesn't think that Sweden will win this year. And maybe I'm crazy for saying that. I mean, I think it's always possible. It's possible for Sweden to win this year. So I don't necessarily want to say it's not winning because it's not good or anything. I just actually think what it's going to end up coming down to is I think we're going to have a lot of split juries. I think we're going to have a lot of split votes. And so I think ultimately Sweden might finish top 10, but I don't necessarily think that it's going to win. I still think, and I still have a little bit of a candle burning, that something a little bit different might actually win this year. And when I think about something a little bit different, I think about Italy, I think about Portugal, I think about Iceland, I think about our ethnic entries. I just think that this year, it is really competitive. I think this is, maybe some people feel like the quality is not the same, but I do think it is a competitive year, because I think we have a lot of songs that are kind of in the same category, so they're sort of battling it out against each other. And I think just for us to assume that Sweden is just a no-brainer lock, they're gonna win it, I think is definitely the wrong way of thinking, because this is a pretty competitive year, and I think we're going to be really surprised at how a lot of these numbers shake out in the end. I'm excited. Are you excited? Okay, I'm also a little bit nervous. I cannot wait to see these scores from this year. True story. So next up, let's talk about Russia. Let me be real. I think Russia, they're going to perform well, obviously. I do think that they are going to make it in the final, obviously. But I wonder if this could end up being sort of like what happened in Norway last year, where there was a lot of buzz around it, where you have a return champion who does, do really well in the semifinal, but then when it comes to the grand final, the numbers start shaking out a little bit. And I think that that's what Russia could find themselves in, and they could find themselves not necessarily on the path to victory, even though, look, the stage show is going to be really great. And this is really a song that I hate to say it's a song that needs to be seen live. I hate to say that because at the end of the day, I think we have some amazing entries this year that it really doesn't matter what they do on stage. Like, now, if they do something outrageous, it could bring the song down, but the song is still a good piece. And really, if they just had the person get on the stage and sing it live, they would be fine. I kind of feel like with Russia, I hate to say that the staging is what's going to save this act, but I do think the staging will save this act, because let's be real, if Moldova or Belarus sent this song, we would be talking about non-qualification. Let's be real. Like, we have to be honest. We have to be honest and upfront. If another country like, I would say Macedonia, Belarus, Moldova, if any of those other countries sent it, Slovenia, we would be talking about, oh no, they're probably not going to qualify. But because it's Sergei Lazarev, because it's Russia, it's like, okay, it'll probably make it through. And that's not to say that this is a bad song, but the song itself, the studio track, there's a little nugget we're kind of missing that a lot of these other songs have. Point blank. But I would also say that I love the fact that Russia is taking a risk, because this is definitely not some radio-friendly current pop track by any means. So I love the fact that they came back with Sergei Lazarev, and they could have just been like, look, let's just go on and do what we do and do it well, and it probably would be, in contention to finish top 3. But the fact that they decided to come back and do something different, I really think is commendable. And I do really, really respect that. But again, I have to be real. I do think if another country, I will throw out, if the UK sent Scream, people would be like,
what is the UK doing? Oh my gosh, like, do they just not want to be top 10?
All of that stuff that y'all know y'all be saying. And in closing, let's talk about the Netherlands, because I really haven't spoken to you guys about the song, because in my reaction I just basically started crying and I could not get myself together. And I'm not gonna lie, the song is still really emotional for me. I mean, this song is beautiful. It's beautiful. It is sung well. It will be sung well. And honestly, sans last year, the Netherlands knows how to stage. I don't think that they're going to give us any crazy, ridiculous staging. What happened last year was kind of crazy and ridiculous. Like, we didn't need any of that because it was a good song and they kind of gave it away a little bit. But, but I do think with this song, you could really just have Duncan backlit, him and a microphone, singular light, and then do light pulses on the oh, and then just have the lights like flicker. You could just stage it like that, and the song could still potentially win all of it. All of it. This song is great, and oh my god, I might get emotional just even talking about it because I'm thinking about the song. The song is just really, really good. It's super thoughtful, well produced. It's so good. And I think it deserves all the credit and hype that it is getting. It's a really good song, and it's going to be performed well. Well, those are my thoughts. What do you think? Talk to me in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Talk to me in the comments below. Do you disagree with me? That's okay too. Talk to me in the comments below. This is a conversation, and you know it. I am so excited for Eurovision 2019. Bye.